Hi, dear viewers. Hope you are doing well today. We are going to talk about how can improve our English. Let's start.
Hey Jack, I've been thinking a lot lately. I really want to improve my English, but I'm not sure where to start. Do you have any tips?
Oh, absolutely. I've been working on my English for years now. One of the best ways to improve is to practice every day, even if it's just for a few minutes.
That makes sense. I sometimes get busy and forget to practice. How can I make sure I stay consistent?
Well, one great way is to set small, daily goals. For example, learn 5 new words a day, or listen to a short podcast or video in English every morning. It doesn't take much time, but it adds up.
That sounds manageable. I've also been thinking about speaking more in English. Do you think speaking is important for improving?
Absolutely. Speaking is one of the most important skills. You can read and listen all you want, but if you don't practice speaking, you won't feel confident when the time comes to have a conversation.
I agree, but I get nervous sometimes, especially when I'm not sure of the right words. Do you have any tips for feeling more confident when speaking?
Yes. First, don't worry about making mistakes. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become. And try to practice with people who are patient and supportive. You can also talk to yourself. Just speak out loud in English when you're alone, even if it's just about what you're doing.
Talking to myself in English, huh? That's an interesting idea. I guess it helps you think in English more, right?
Exactly. The more you think in English, the easier it becomes to speak without translating in your head. You'll also get used to the flow of the language.
What about listening? I love watching TV shows and movies. Do you think that's helpful?
Definitely. Watching TV shows and movies in English is a great way to improve listening skills. Try to watch with English subtitles at first, and then try without them as you get better.
I usually watch with subtitles in my native language, but I've never tried without them. I'll give it a try next time. What about reading and writing?
Reading is excellent for learning new vocabulary and understanding sentence structure. Try reading articles, books, or even short stories in English. For writing, start keeping a journal or writing short paragraphs about your day. It helps improve both your writing skills and your grammar.
That's a great idea. I'll try to write at least 1 paragraph in English every day. Do you think practicing with apps or online courses is helpful?
Yes, there are so many great apps and websites for learning English. Duolingo, Babbel, or even language exchange apps where you talk to native speakers are all really helpful. Just make sure to balance it with real-life practice.
I've heard of some of those apps. I'll check them out. Another thing I struggle with is pronunciation. Do you have any tips for that?
Pronunciation can be tricky, but the best way to improve is to listen carefully to native speakers. Try to imitate how they say words and pay attention to the stress and rhythm in sentences. There are also websites and YouTube channels focused on pronunciation practice.
I'll focus more on that too. Sometimes I feel like I'm not improving fast enough. Do you think it takes a long time to really become fluent?
It takes time, but don't get discouraged. The key is consistency. As long as you keep practicing, you'll see improvement. Everyone's journey is different, so focus on your progress and enjoy the process.
Thanks, Jack. You've given me some great advice. I feel more motivated now to keep going.
No problem. Just remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Keep practicing every day, and you'll get there.
I will. Thanks again, Jack. I'll talk to you soon.
Anytime, Emma. Good luck with your English, and I know you'll do great. 1. Practice every day. Set small goals like learning new words or watching a short video in English. 2. Speak as much as possible. Don't worry about mistakes. The more you speak, the better you'll become. 3. Think in English. Talk to yourself or describe what you're doing in English to build confidence. 4. Listen actively. Watch TV shows and movies in English with subtitles, and then without them. 5. Read and write regularly. Read articles or books, and write a daily journal to improve vocabulary and grammar. 6. Use apps and online resources. Use language learning apps and websites for extra practice. 7. Work on pronunciation. Listen to native speakers and try to imitate their pronunciation and rhythm. 8. Stay consistent. Don't worry about fast progress. Focus on small, daily improvements.
Jack, I've been practicing a lot lately, but I still feel like there's so much I don't understand. Sometimes I get frustrated. What should I do when I hit a roadblock?
It's totally normal to feel that way. Everyone faces challenges when learning a language. The key is not to give up. When you hit a roadblock, try to switch things up. For example, you can focus on something new, like a different skill or area of English, to keep your motivation high.
That's true. Sometimes I get stuck on grammar rules and feel like I'm not improving at all. How do you deal with that?
Grammar can be tough, but don't stress about it too much. Focus on communication first. If you can get your point across, that's what matters most. Once you feel more confident, you can gradually start focusing on more complex grammar. Practice makes perfect.
I see. So, I shouldn't worry if my grammar isn't perfect right away, as long as I'm communicating?
Exactly. The more you use English in real-life situations, the more you'll start to notice patterns in grammar naturally. And remember, no one speaks perfectly all the time. Even native speakers make mistakes.
Another thing I've heard about is immersion. I've seen people say it's one of the best ways to learn. What exactly does that mean?
Immersion is all about surrounding yourself with the language as much as possible. It's like living in an English-speaking environment, even if you're not physically in one. For example, you could change your phone or computer settings to English, follow English-speaking accounts on social media, or even listen to English music or podcasts during your commute.
That sounds like a good idea. I've never thought about changing my phone settings to English. Do you think it really helps?
Yes, it helps a lot. It forces you to use English in your daily life, and over time, you'll get more comfortable with it. Even if you don't understand every word, It's about creating constant exposure to the language.
I'll try that. What about speaking with people? How can I find people to practice with?
There are so many ways to find people to speak with. You can join language exchange groups online, participate in English-speaking meetups, or even talk to native speakers on social media. Some apps connect language learners from all over the world, so you can practice speaking with someone who's learning your language too.
That sounds fun. I've heard about language exchange apps like HelloTalk and Tandem. I'll check those out.
Another great way to improve is through reading. Start with simple books, articles, or stories in English. Over time, you can challenge yourself with more complex texts.
I love reading, so that's a good idea. But sometimes, I find some words really difficult. Should I look up every word I don't know?
It's a good idea to look up words you don't understand, but don't stop there. Try to guess the meaning of the word from the context first. If you can't figure it out, then check the dictionary. It helps you remember words better if you try to guess.
So I shouldn't rely too much on the dictionary. Guessing the meaning is a good strategy. What about listening? I know listening helps a lot, but it's sometimes hard to keep up.
Listening can be tough at first, but the more you practice, the better you'll get. Try listening to podcasts or audiobooks at a slower speed at first, and then gradually increase the speed as you improve. Focus on understanding the main ideas, not every single word.
I'll try listening to podcasts at a slower speed. I've been watching TV shows in English, but sometimes I miss a lot. Is that normal?
Absolutely. At the beginning, it's normal to miss a lot. But as you keep listening to English, your brain starts to recognize patterns and words more easily. Over time, you'll be able to understand more without thinking too hard about it.
So Jack, with all these tips, how can I make learning English more fun? I feel like sometimes I just sit down to study, and it's not very exciting.
You should definitely make it fun. Learning doesn't have to feel like work. You can play language games, listen to music you enjoy, or watch TV shows and movies that you find entertaining. The key is to find activities that you love, but in English.
That sounds like a good approach. I could start watching my favorite shows in English and try to learn the lyrics to English songs.
Exactly. You can also read comics or graphic novels in English. The visuals help you understand the context, and it's a fun way to improve your vocabulary.
I've never thought of that. I'll try reading some graphic novels in English. Thanks for the suggestion.
So, Emma, now that you have all these ideas, what's your plan moving forward?
I think I'll start by setting small goals every day. I'll read something in English, write a journal entry, and listen to a podcast. I also want to speak more, so I'll find people to practice with on language exchange apps.
That sounds like a great plan. Remember, the most important thing is consistency. Don't worry if you don't see progress right away. Every small step counts, and you'll improve over time.
Thanks, Jack. I feel much more confident now, and I'm excited to get started.
Anytime, Emma. Keep me updated on your progress. You're going to do great.
I will. Thanks again for all the tips. I'll talk to you soon.
1. Set small goals. Break down your language learning into small, achievable tasks. 2. Consistency is key. Practice every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. 3. Speak and listen often. The more you speak, the more confident you'll get. 4. Use English in your daily life. Change your phone settings to English. Follow English content and immerse yourself. 5. Make learning fun. Watch your favorite shows, listen to music, or read comics in English. 6. Don't worry about mistakes. Focus on communication, not perfection. 7. Keep motivated. Stay positive and keep challenging yourself.
Jack, sometimes I feel like I'm not improving fast enough. I feel like I should be at a higher level by now. How do you stay motivated when it feels like you're not progressing?
That's a common feeling. It's easy to get discouraged, but the important thing is to track your progress. Maybe you can keep a language journal where you write about what you've learned each week. Over time, you'll notice how much you've actually improved, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment.
A language journal sounds like a good idea. I can write down new words I've learned, sentences I've practiced, and things I've watched or listened to in English.
Exactly. You'll be able to look back at the journal and see how far you've come. It helps remind you that every effort counts.
I'll start doing that. I think having a visual reminder will motivate me to keep going. Do you ever compare your skills to others to see how you're doing?
Honestly, I try not to. Everyone learns at their own pace, and comparing yourself to others can make you feel discouraged. The important thing is to focus on your own journey and celebrate the small wins along the way.
That's true. I need to remind myself that my progress is what matters, not how fast others are learning. Thanks for that advice, Jack. Now, I've been practicing for a while, but I feel like I need to challenge myself more. Are there any advanced techniques or strategies I can try to take my English to the next level?
Definitely. One strategy is to focus on specific areas of language that you feel weakest in, like advanced vocabulary, complex sentence structures, or even idioms. For example, try reading books or articles on topics you know nothing about. This will expose you to new words and ideas.
That sounds like a great challenge. I could start reading articles on topics I'm unfamiliar with, like science or history. But what about improving my speaking even more? I still feel a little nervous when talking to others.
Speaking with native speakers is one of the best ways to improve. Try joining English-speaking communities online, or if possible, travel to places where English is spoken. But even just speaking to a friend or a tutor in English regularly will help you improve your fluency.
I've always wanted to travel to an English-speaking country to immerse myself more. Hopefully, I can do that soon. But for now, I'll try to speak more with native speakers online. What about using advanced learning materials like podcasts or YouTube channels?
Yes, absolutely. There are so many advanced podcasts and YouTube channels that focus on specific skills, like listening comprehension, vocabulary expansion, and even business English. I recommend checking out podcasts like The English We Speak, or YouTube channels that teach advanced English topics. They're designed to keep you engaged while learning new things.
I'll check those out. I think learning through podcasts will help me get used to natural conversations and different accents. What about writing? Is there a way to make my writing more advanced?
For writing, start by writing essays, reviews, or detailed blog posts on specific topics. Practice using more complex sentence structures and focus on using a wider range of vocabulary. If possible, get feedback from native speakers or teachers to help you improve.
I'll definitely start writing more detailed pieces. Maybe I can write reviews on books or movies in English and share them online. That will help me practice. One thing I've noticed is that some methods work better for me than others. Is there a way to figure out which learning style suits me best?
That's a great question. Everyone has their own preferred learning style. Some people are visual learners, so they learn best through videos and images. Others are auditory learners, so listening to podcasts or music works better for them. And some people are kinesthetic learners, meaning they learn best through hands-on practice, like speaking or writing.
I think I'm a mix of visual and auditory. I love watching videos and listening to music, but I also need to write things down to remember them. Should I focus more on these methods?
Absolutely. It's important to stick to what works best for you. You can combine different methods to create a well-rounded learning experience. For example, watch a video in English, take notes, and then try speaking about it or writing a summary afterward. This helps reinforce what you've learned.
I like that idea. It'll make learning more engaging and fun. Sometimes I get bored when I just focus on one method for too long.
That's totally normal. Mixing things up keeps it interesting and helps you retain more information. And don't forget to take breaks. It's important to rest your brain and come back fresh.
Now that I've learned all these tips, I feel much more confident about improving my English. I'm excited to keep going.
I'm glad to hear that. Just remember, the key is to keep challenging yourself and celebrating your progress along the way. Set long-term goals, but also take the time to celebrate the small victories, like mastering a new word or having a conversation without hesitation.
You're right. I'll make sure to enjoy the process and celebrate the little wins. Learning a language isn't just about reaching a goal. It's about the journey.
Exactly. And when you look back at how much you've learned, you'll be proud of yourself for sticking with it. Keep practicing every day, and I'm sure you'll see amazing results.
Thanks again, Jack. I feel so much more prepared and motivated. I'll talk to you soon and let you know how things are going.
Anytime, Emma. I'm excited to see how you progress. Good luck, and remember, learning English is an adventure. Have fun with it. 1. Track your progress. Keep a journal to remind yourself of how much you've learned. 2. Avoid comparing yourself to others. Focus on your own learning journey. 3. Challenge yourself. Move beyond basic materials and try more advanced content. 4. Use real-life practice. Speak with native speakers. Travel or engage in English communities. 5. Find your learning style. Mix methods that work for you, like watching videos, listening to music, and writing. 6. Celebrate small wins. Enjoy the process of learning and celebrate progress, no matter how small. 7. Stay consistent. Daily practice is the key to long-term improvement. 8. Have fun. Make learning enjoyable by incorporating activities you love.
Jack, I've been learning for a few months now, but recently, it feels like I've hit a plateau. I don't feel like I'm improving as much anymore. What should I do when that happens?
Plateaus are completely normal. Everyone goes through them. It's easy to feel stuck when you're learning a language, but the trick is to push through it. One way to do that is by setting a new challenge for yourself. Try speaking more, learning new idioms, or even changing your learning environment.
A new challenge sounds like a good idea. Maybe I should start learning some advanced vocabulary or use English in more specific situations, like at work or in a hobby I enjoy. What do you think?
That's a great approach. Applying English to your everyday life, whether it's at work or through your hobbies, will push you to use the language more naturally. The more you use it in different contexts, the easier it becomes to remember and use in conversation.
I'll try to focus more on using English in my job and in casual conversations with friends. It might feel challenging, but I guess that's part of the growth process.
Exactly. The more you challenge yourself, the faster you'll break through that plateau. Also, don't forget to review what you've already learned. Sometimes, going back to basics can help refresh your memory and build your confidence again.
I've been thinking a lot about how I can use technology to improve my English. Do you have any suggestions for apps or online tools that can help?
There are so many tools out there that can make learning English easier. For example, apps like Duolingo and Memrise are great for vocabulary building. If you want to practice your speaking skills, try using apps like HelloTalk or Speaky, where you can chat with native speakers.
I've heard of Duolingo before. Do you think it's a good tool for beginners?
Yes, Duolingo is great for beginners because it makes learning fun and interactive. It introduces vocabulary and grammar in small, manageable chunks, so you don't feel overwhelmed. It's also a good way to keep your skills fresh if you're practicing every day.
I'll start using it more regularly. What about apps for listening practice?
For listening, you can use platforms like TED Talks or YouTube channels that offer English lessons. Podcasts are also perfect for improving listening. I suggest trying The English We Speak or BBC Learning English. They're designed for learners and cover a wide range of topics and levels.
I'll definitely check those out. I know I need to focus more on listening, as I find it hard to understand fast speakers. Do you have any tips for that?
Absolutely. Start by listening to podcasts at a slower speed, then gradually increase the speed as you improve. Try listening to content that interests you, so it feels less like studying and more like something you're doing for fun. The more you listen, the easier it will be to catch every word.
Another challenge I've been having is pronunciation. Even though I can read and write in English, sometimes I feel like I'm not saying words correctly. How can I improve my pronunciation?
That's a common issue for many learners. To improve pronunciation, you can try listening to native speakers and mimicking what they say. This is called shadowing. Find a video, podcast, or TV show you like, and try to repeat the words you hear as closely as possible.
Shadowing sounds interesting. Do I need to focus on every word? Or should I just concentrate on the overall rhythm and intonation?
It's important to focus on both. Start by paying attention to the overall rhythm and intonation, because that's what makes your speech sound natural. Once you're comfortable with that, you can focus on individual words and sounds that are harder for you.
I'll try shadowing with some of my favorite TV shows. I think it'll help me sound more natural. Are there any other tips for pronunciation?
You can also record yourself speaking and compare it to native speakers. This will help you hear any differences and improve. There are also apps like Elsa Speak or Speechling that offer pronunciation feedback to help you get better.
I'll try recording myself and comparing it to native speakers. Thanks for the advice. Sometimes, I get nervous when I have to speak English, especially with native speakers. I'm afraid I'll make mistakes or sound silly. How did you overcome that fear?
That's a big challenge for many learners. The best way to overcome fear is to remind yourself that making mistakes is part of the learning process. No one is perfect, not even native speakers. The key is to focus on communicating, not on being perfect.
That's a good point. I guess the more I speak, the more confident I'll become. It's just hard to take that first step sometimes.
Exactly. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Start with low-pressure situations, like talking to friends or practicing in front of a mirror. As you gain confidence, you can move on to speaking with native speakers or in more formal settings.
I'll start by speaking with my friends more in English and not worrying about making mistakes. I'll just focus on getting my message across.
That's the perfect approach. Also, try to remind yourself of all the progress you've made. Each conversation you have is a victory, even if you make a mistake. And don't be afraid to ask for help or clarification when you don't understand something.
I've learned so many great tips from you today, Jack. Do you think I can become fluent in English in a few years if I keep practicing?
Absolutely. It takes time, but with consistent effort and the right approach, you can definitely become fluent. Fluency isn't just about knowing all the words. It's about being comfortable and confident in using the language in different situations.
That's really encouraging to hear. I think I'll set a long-term goal of speaking fluently within the next few years. It's important to be patient with myself, right?
Yes, exactly. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a lifelong process. Even native speakers are constantly learning new things about their own language. So, enjoy the journey and celebrate each milestone.
I will. Thanks so much for all your help, Jack. I feel more motivated than ever to keep improving my English.
Anytime, Emma. I'm so glad to see you excited about learning. Keep practicing, and I'm sure you'll reach your goals. Let's catch up soon and talk about your progress.
1. Push through plateaus. Set new challenges for yourself to overcome periods where you feel stuck. 2. Use technology. Apps and online tools are great for building vocabulary, practicing pronunciation, and improving listening. 3. Focus on pronunciation. Shadowing and recording yourself helps you improve your accent and fluency. 4. Overcome the fear of speaking. Practice speaking with friends in low-pressure situations and don't fear mistakes. 5. Set long-term goals. Be patient with yourself. Fluency takes time, but with consistent practice, it's achievable. 6. Celebrate milestones. Every small success is a step forward. Take pride in your progress.
Thanks for watching this video. For more videos, subscribe our channel.